For most of SpongeBob SquarePants, Squidward Tentacles is presented as the unhappiest resident of Bikini Bottom. He dislikes his job. He avoids his neighbors. He dreams of a better life, yet somehow always ends up back where he started. It is easy to assume that Squidward is simply impossible to please. But the series tells a more interesting story than that. Every so often, Squidward actually gets what he has been chasing all along: a successful concert, a peaceful afternoon, recognition for his talent, a chance to leave the Krusty Krab behind, moments where life finally seems to be moving in the direction he always imagined. And for a brief time, he is genuinely happy. The strange part is that these moments almost never last. Sometimes they fall apart because of bad luck. Sometimes because of SpongeBob. Sometimes because of Squidward himself. Whatever the reason, happiness has a habit of slipping through his tentacles just when it finally seems within reach. Over the years, these moments have become one of the most consistent patterns in the series. Every small victory feels like the beginning of a new chapter, only for everything to unravel in the most unexpected way. Today, we are looking at the complete history of the time Squidward Tentacles came closer than ever to achieving the life he always wanted, and why, despite all those opportunities, lasting happiness always seemed just out of reach. For most of his life, Squidward has been convinced that the world simply refuses to recognize him. In his mind, he has the talent, he has the taste, he has the sophistication. What he lacks is an audience willing to appreciate any of it. So when the Two Faces of Squidward begins, it accidentally gives him something he has wanted for years: tension. Ironically, it has nothing to do with his music or his artwork. After accidentally slamming a door into his face, Squidward's appearance changes completely. Instead of looking like his usual self, he suddenly becomes incredibly handsome. Almost overnight, everyone's attitude toward him changes. The same people who barely noticed him before are now stopping in the street just to admire him. Crowds begin following him everywhere he goes. For a character who has spent years feeling ignored, it seems like everything is finally falling into place. And for a while, it genuinely is. The attention makes Squidward feel important in a way he rarely experiences throughout the series. He no longer has to convince people that he's special. They already believe it. Every room he enters is filled with admiration, and for perhaps the first time in his life, he becomes the center of attention without even trying. But there is a catch. The recognition Squidward receives has nothing to do with the things he actually values about himself. Nobody is asking to hear his clarinet. Nobody is celebrating the years he spent trying to become a respected artist. But as the crowds continue to grow, another problem begins to appear. The fame never stops. Everywhere Squidward goes, someone is watching him. His privacy disappears almost immediately. Simple errands become public events, and the quiet lifestyle he has always preferred slowly becomes impossible to maintain. Without realizing it, Squidward has traded one frustration for another. He spent years wishing people would notice him. Now he wishes they would leave him alone. It is one of the series' most ironic examples of Squidward getting exactly what he asked for, only to discover that reality is much less appealing than the fantasy he had built in his head. By the end of the episode, the fame disappears just as suddenly as it arrived, leaving Squidward right back where he started. At first, that feels like another one of his many disappointments. But looking back, it also reveals something important. This was never the life Squidward truly wanted. He wanted respect. He wanted people to admire his talent. He wanted to feel understood. Instead, he became famous for the one thing that had nothing to do with who he believed he was. For a brief moment, Squidward finally experienced the recognition he had been chasing for years. The problem was that it was recognition for the wrong reasons. And that is why this moment belongs on the list. Not because Squidward became happy, but because, for a short time, he believed he finally had everything he had been missing, only to realize that happiness built on the wrong foundation was never going to last. If there is one person Squidward wants to defeat more than anyone else, it is Squilliam Fancyson. Every time Squilliam appears, he seems to have accomplished another dream that Squidward has spent years chasing. more success, more wealth, more recognition. In House Fancy, Squidward finally gets that opportunity. Everything begins when he sits down to watch his favorite home design television show, House Fancy. Before the program can even begin, Squilliam calls to reveal that his own house is being featured. Unable to hide his jealousy, Squidward boldly tells the show's host that his own home is even fancier. It is a claim he makes in the heat of the moment, only realizing afterward that he now has to prove it. For Squidward, the competition means far more than winning a magazine title. Naturally, Spongebob offers to help prepare for the judging. As expected, the preparation quickly turns into chaos. Furniture is damaged, decorations are ruined. By the time Nicholas Withers is about to arrive, Squidward watches years of pride in his home fall apart in front of him. Then, in one final accident, the vacuum explodes and completely destroys the house. Watching the walls collapse feels like watching Squidward's hopes disappear with them. After everything that happened, another embarrassing defeat seems inevitable. Then the episode takes an unexpected turn. When Nicholas Withers sees the wreckage, he is fascinated. Instead of seeing a destroyed house, he sees a bold piece of modern design. To everyone's surprise, he declares Squidward's home the winner and crowns him House Fancy Prince of the Year. For once, Squidward gets to experience something that rarely happens throughout the series. He wins. Even better, he wins while Squilliam is forced to watch. The satisfaction on Squidward's face says everything. Years of comparing himself to his old rival finally lead to a moment where he comes out on top. Whether the judges reached that conclusion for unusual reasons hardly matters. The victory is official, and everyone present sees Squidward as the winner. That is what makes this episode so important. Happiness for Squidward often comes from the hope that one day people will acknowledge his taste. House Fancy gives him exactly that, even if the path to victory is completely absurd. And for someone who measures so much of his self-worth against his lifelong rival, that victory brings him closer to genuine happiness than almost any other moment in the series. For years, Squidward has blamed his unhappiness on the people around him. His noisy neighbors, his frustrating job, and the constant chaos of Bikini Bottom all seem to stand between him and the quiet, sophisticated life he believes he deserves. So when Squidville gives him the chance to leave all of that behind, it feels like the answer he has been waiting for. After one argument too many with Spongebob and Patrick, Squidward packs his belongings and moves away. His destination is Tentacle Acres, a peaceful gated community populated entirely by octopuses who share his interests and lifestyle. From the moment he arrives, everything appears perfect. The neighborhood is quiet. The houses are identical and beautifully maintained. The residents appreciate the same music, the same routines, and the same calm atmosphere that Squidward has always wanted. Nobody is running through the streets shouting. Nobody is blowing bubbles outside his window. For the first time in a long time, he finds himself surrounded by people who seem to understand him. Naturally, Squidward settles in almost immediately. He plays the clarinet with his neighbors, enjoys the community's daily activities. For a while, Squidward is genuinely happy. What makes this episode so interesting is that it finally tests one of the biggest questions surrounding his character. Would Squidward be happy if Spongebob and Patrick disappeared from his life? At first, the answer seems obvious. Yes. Without constant interruptions, he finally has peace and quiet. But as the days pass, something begins to change. The routine that once felt comforting slowly becomes repetitive. The community that originally seemed perfect starts to feel strangely lifeless. Squidward realizes that he is no longer excited by the peace he worked so hard to find. He is simply bored. That realization changes the entire episode. For years, Squidward believed happiness was waiting somewhere else. Eventually, the endless routine becomes too much to ignore. Squidward leaves Tentacle Acres and returns to Bikini Bottom, where Spongebob and Patrick are waiting exactly as they always have been. It is an ending that says a great deal about Squidward. Squidville quietly suggests that Squidward's unhappiness cannot be explained by his surroundings alone. Changing his address solved some of his problems, but it also revealed new ones he never anticipated. For one brief chapter, Squidward found the peaceful life he had always imagined. Ironically, it was that very perfection that convinced him to leave it behind. Throughout the series, Squidward believes the world around him is the reason he can never be happy. Even the smallest inconvenience is enough to ruin his mood. After years of watching him complain about nearly everything, it becomes easy to assume that this is simply who Squidward is. Then Breath of Fresh Squidward asks an unexpected question. What if Squidward's personality changed instead of his circumstances? The episode begins with a freak accident. After being shocked by electricity, Squidward wakes up acting like a completely different person. The sarcastic, cynical cashier is gone, replaced by someone who smiles constantly, greets everyone with enthusiasm, and finds joy in even the simplest parts of everyday life. Naturally, nobody can believe it. Spongebob and Patrick are thrilled to see the change. Even the residents of Bikini Bottom are surprised by how friendly and approachable Squidward suddenly becomes. Instead of pushing people away, he starts making genuine connections with them. For the first time in the series, people actually enjoy being around Squidward. And perhaps even more surprisingly, Squidward enjoys being around them too. Even SpongeBob's endless enthusiasm suddenly feels infectious instead of exhausting. For a while, Squidward experiences something that has been incredibly rare throughout the series: contentment. He is simply enjoying the life he already has. That is what makes this episode stand out from every other entry on this list. Most of Squidward's happiest moments come from finally achieving one of his goals. Here, happiness comes from a completely different place. His surroundings remain almost identical, yet his experience of them changes completely. Of course, the transformation does not last forever. By the end of the episode, another electrical accident restores Squidward's original personality, bringing back the familiar cynicism that defines him for the rest of the series. Almost immediately, the cheerful version of Squidward disappears, and life returns to normal. It is a funny ending. Looking back, Breath of Fresh Squidward feels less like a story about an electrical accident and more like a glimpse into an alternate version of the character. One where happiness was always possible. It simply required Squidward to see the same world through a different perspective. And for a short while, that version of Squidward may have been the happiest we ever saw him. If there is one episode that fans point to as Squidward's greatest victory, it is almost always Band Geeks. For years, Squilliam Fancy Son had represented everything Squidward believed he could have been. For the first time, Squidward is given a chance to prove him wrong. It begins with an unexpected phone call. Squilliam proudly explains that he has been asked to perform at the prestigious Bubble Bowl, only to reveal that he has no intention of showing up. Instead, he tricks Squidward into taking responsibility for the performance, fully expecting him to fail in front of thousands of spectators. It is exactly the kind of humiliation Squilliam enjoys, and exactly the kind of challenge Squidward cannot ignore. Determined to save his reputation, Squidward recruits the residents of Bikini Bottom to form a marching band. On paper, it sounds like a reasonable plan. In reality, it is a disaster. The band cannot stay in rhythm. The rehearsals descend into complete chaos. Every practice session seems to create more problems than it solves. With every failed rehearsal, Squilliam's prediction appears more likely. By the time the Bubble Bowl arrives, there is very little reason to believe the performance will succeed. Even Squidward begins to lose confidence. That is what makes the ending so satisfying. When the curtain rises, everything changes. The same group that stumbled through every rehearsal suddenly delivers a flawless performance. The band plays together perfectly. The crowd erupts with excitement. Standing at the front of the band, Squidward watches years of frustration disappear in a single performance. For one unforgettable moment, everything he had been chasing finally becomes reality. He finally earns a victory that nobody can take away from him. What makes this moment so meaningful is that the success comes from something Squidward truly cares about. Throughout the series, he constantly talks about his love for music and his dream of being recognized as a talented musician. Most of those ambitions end in disappointment or embarrassment. Band Geeks is different. His hard work finally leads somewhere. His leadership pays off. It is difficult to find another episode where Squidward experiences so many of the things he has wanted for so long. For a brief time, Squidward is exactly where he always hoped he would be. He is standing in front of an applauding crowd, conducting a successful performance, while Squilliam can do nothing but watch. Considering everything we know about Squidward, that may be the closest he ever comes to achieving genuine personal happiness. Looking back at these episodes, one thing becomes impossible to ignore. Squidward actually comes remarkably close to happiness far more often than people remember. He becomes famous. He defeats Squilliam. He finds his dream neighborhood. He discovers a version of himself that enjoys life. He even stands in front of a cheering stadium after delivering the performance he had always dreamed of. For brief moments, everything falls into place. The reason those moments stand out is because they never seem to last. Squidward is not simply the grumpy neighbor who exists to complain. He is someone who spends the entire series searching for a life that matches the one he imagined for himself. There is also a quiet irony running through all of these stories. The moments when Squidward is happiest are rarely the ones he plans for. Some arrive through complete accidents. Others happen because people he normally avoids end up helping him. Happiness was never completely out of Squidward's reach. It simply arrived in ways he never expected, and it rarely stayed long enough for him to believe it had finally arrived. That may be why Squidward remains one of the most relatable characters in SpongeBob SquarePants. Beneath the sarcasm and frustration is someone who never stopped believing that a better life was possible. Every now and then, he was right. He just never got to keep it.